Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
And welcome to On the
Wait,
Move.
No.
I know. Well,
Happy Tuesday.
That's right. This is a special edition. I'm all messed up already. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Special episode this time.
Yeah, On the Move with Nan Kam is getting some breaking news right now, which is always exciting. But our guest joining us today, you might have been wondering, we've announced that Jon Lugbill will be retiring as our executive director in June. And we have the first exclusive interview with our new executive director at Sports Backers.
Yeah, this is so exciting.
How you feel? Excited?
I don't know. I just feel like we know a little secret and some people don't know the secret and we get to break the secret.
I know. Well, it's going to happen now.
You know, we're hard. Keeping secrets is hard.
It is, especially when you gab and you yap. So secret keeping is not our strong point, but we've done it.
Yeah. And we're very excited for our new executive director to be here.
Yeah. Should we meet him?
All
guys?
Right.
Here he comes. Come on in.
Bring him in.
Welcome, our new executive director, Will Dixon. Yeah, Cameron wanted full John Cena music, and I guess she wanted Will to like tumble in here possibly in jorts.
And then like land in the chair. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do some pose.
Yeah.
But no, instead, it's a serious day, so we're having just a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But congratulations, Will.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. This has also been, Cameron was just saying before you came in here, that for us two girls, secret keeping is hard. So this has been a real test of our abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That should tell you something. We're good at when we have to keep a secret, we can do it.
I agree.
Is it fun? No, but we can do it. I hope. Oh, guys.
Yeah, we got some construction still going on in the new office. You might hear.
Yeah,
that's right. I feel like normally when we edit this, it's good and takes it out. So, and we got the mics this time.
The mics will probably take it out.
Yeah, new mini mics. Well, Will, tell people if they're not familiar with you. I mean, they've definitely been at Sports Backers for over 17 years, so they've definitely seen you at our events.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about your journey at Sports Backers and how you got here.
Yeah. Thanks, Nan.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I actually graduated from James Madison University in 2007 with a sport and recreation management degree, and was looking for work in sports in Richmond, Richmond native. And so I was looking for a job in sports and emailed Jon Lugbill and basically said I was willing to work. The timing just happened to be timing was right in that we were adding a lot of events at the time and needed more labor. And so I was able to help out the weekends of the fall of 2007. So the Maymont Cross Country Festival was my first event. I worked the marathon that fall and then was hired full-time January 2008. And it was like, when I started, it was a labor job. It was loading and unloading trucks. It was operations, setting up and breakdown of events. Fortunate enough to get into the sponsorship side of things a couple years in the fundraising, management, and now most recently oversee our marketing, sponsorship, fundraising, and finance side of the organization.
Did you have a specific, was there something you wanted to do, or were you just like, I want to work in sports and this is what's going to happen, and then you just evolved as time went on?
Yeah, I mean, the sports market here in Richmond is different from a lot of other cities. You know, you have obviously your large universities, you got your soccer with the kickers and the squirrels, and baseball. But what I really loved about Sports Backers, that was attractive to me about Sports Backers, is that we're an organization of doers. We get out and we do things and we make things possible for people to be active. So it wasn't any one career track, but I've always been a sports lover, always been a big fan of physical activity. And, so it just kind of felt like a good opportunity for me to get my foot in the door.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We know that previously, previously you were a soccer player. But when you work at Sports Backers, you can't stop moving because that's our job, is to keep moving and keep the community moving. So what has active living looked like to you since you haven't been playing soccer anymore?
Yeah. And I think calling myself a soccer player is maybe giving me a little too much credit. I played soccer.
Just go with it.
Yeah, Will played soccer.
I played soccer growing up. I loved soccer, loved swimming, played a little tennis, a little basketball, but really was just always on the go.
Right.
And soccer ended up being the sport that I gravitated towards. Played in high school. We won a state championship.
That's a soccer player, Will.
My senior year. A couple of my buddies actually went on to play in the MLS, one of which is still involved in Major League Soccer. And then I played in college. It was more intramurals. It was more just, going to the gym and, working out, running, doing a little lifting. To me, physical activity is one of those beautiful things that no matter what your situation is, you can benefit from it. And so, as I got older, I had some kids. I started coaching their soccer teams. Now I'm actually training with the 10K with my oldest son, Davis. To me, it's just about, like you're saying, it's not stopping.
Yeah.
It's just staying moving. Every now and then I'll get back in the pool and swim a little bit. But mainly I'm just kind of out and about, riding my bike, going for a run. Right. I like a good home workout too.
Me too.
My home workouts, my gym is literally right under me now, so that is not, I have a whole gym down there. Awesome. I know, so cool. So it makes it, I really have no excuse, which is like, yay, but then it's like, oh my gosh, every single day, every day. But yeah, that's awesome. I feel like a lot of people have kids this year training for the 10K.
I know. I was about to say you shouldn't have told me that info because we had Allison and River on the podcast because she's doing the same thing. And I just asked her, haven't sent out my media story ideas yet for the 10K. So watch out with Will Davis.
Are Megan Keogh's kids running?
Yeah. Rory is running. Jake wanted to run, I believe. Jake wanted to run, but he can't. So Rory's running, or it's the opposite. One of them has a basketball tournament, so they can't run. And the one that did not want to run is running. So yeah, I think that's 3.
Ashley's kids are doing the kids run.
They always do.
The kids run.
Yeah. And then who else? I don't know. I feel like that might be it.
If any of the Reagan's kids are doing the kids run.
They've done that.
Cameron and Max normally do the 10K mini.
You're right.
So they're probably doing it. Yeah. Go everybody. You're on staff. You're moving.
It's funny because John Reagan's, Megan Keogh, and I all worked here before we even had kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the fact that we're here and like now our kids are old enough to actually not just do the 10K mini, but the
actual event.
It's
cool. And actually the 3 of you all also coach your kids' teams because Megan just recently started coaching too, didn't she?
Megan Schultz started coaching baseball. I have taken a step back from my coaching duties because my little one is doing soccer and baseball this spring, and my older one is doing travel soccer.
That's a lot.
Just with the schedules.
That's a lot.
Wasn't going to work.
Yeah, you need some weekends.
Right.
Where you don't have
and now you're stepping into this big role. You got a lot going on. Yeah. New office.
Yeah, here we are.
Look at and still smiling. I don't know if I'd be smiling.
You would be. I know you.
I don't know.
It's a smile of relief.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. There we go. That's a good way to look at it.
So you won't have to keep this secret, and then you have the new office. It's been great the past couple of weeks. Cameron thought of this next question. It's kind of a doozy.
Here,
or you? No, it's fine. I'll do this one. So was there a moment when you realized that you might want to lead this organization someday? That's something, if given the opportunity, that you would be interested in? She's giving you hers now. We're really playing musical mics.
Yeah. I get my head on a swivel here. One of the things that I've loved about sports backers in my career here is I've always had new opportunities. And I think it's really a testament to Jon and his leadership style. And we're always looking to invest in the staff. And that means being very intentional at allowing your staff people to grow in areas that they want to grow.
Yeah.
That also then obviously benefits the organization. So I've had those opportunities over the last 17 plus years. And that's how you get from loading and unloading trucks to being able to sit where I am now, right? Like that doesn't happen by chance on my part or by chance in the organization's part. So, striving for the top job was never my goal, but growing within an organization that wants to see me grow and thrive and does work that I'm passionate about, like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like you've been growing over time, and this is just like the next step up is like just so happens to be Mr. Cop Guy.
It's one of the few hats that I haven't worn.
Right.
Yeah.
Is one way to look at it. And it's a little scary. It's very exciting, but it's all new. I think I'm just incredibly fortunate to have a staff around me, a supportive board, and to have a community that we've built here at Sports Backers that's going to make big things happen moving forward.
Yeah. I would also kind of imagine in my mind, like maybe the fact that you've worn so many hats and have been given so many different opportunities here makes it feel slightly less intimidating when you think of it on the day to day. But I'm just like, that's something I love about working here is that, maybe my role has changed a couple of times, but even within my own role, like there is really never a time if I thought up something that I really thought would be beneficial to changing the way I do something or a way that we could, push an event and some like weird idea I had. If it was like logistical and it could happen logistically, if it made sense and it was easy to pull off, like I feel like I feel like that's one of the best things is that Ashley and the marketing team and everybody else would be like, yeah, sure, try it.
That is very true.
Yeah. And that doesn't happen a lot of places.
No, you can't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I think that you need to just know how to fail fast and move on.
Yeah.
And, but you have to think outside the box. And it's actually one of the reasons that I think we've had a lot of success over the years is that when we go through our strategic planning processes and when we build our work plans for the year, or even when we hire staff, we're looking or to form a new partnership out in the community. We look outside of these four walls.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've always looked outside of these four walls because we haven't been here
No.
before.
These are our new
our new four walls. But, I think that along those lines that you have to encourage creativity and innovation. And a lot of times those ideas are going to come outside of just the people that are working here and on payroll.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Okay. So what are you most excited about? What are you most excited about with the future of Sports Backers and becoming the executive director? Obviously, you got some big shoes to fill because Mr. Lugbill really did a great job. But what are you excited about?
Yeah, I am really excited about continuing to explore how Sports Backers fits into the shaping of Richmond's identity, the Richmond region's identity. And, I try not to think too much of it like filling John's shoes.
Right.
I think it's more about taking this organization in the direction that really aligns with my vision and my values and my passions. A lot of times those are going to be the exact same as Jon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with him for over 17 years. But really kind of, again, going back to the innovation, thinking outside the box on what different partnerships we can have with other nonprofits here in town, with the local public entities, local jurisdictions, building out within the business community, what services we can offer to them, and really kind of branding the Richmond region as this active living hub on a national scale. I've started using the analogy a little bit of, I want active living to, let me just try to say this again. I've started using the analogy of, I want Richmond to be to active living like Nashville is to country music.
Right.
I think that there's
when you think of it,
when you think of Nashville, you know what you're thinking of, right?
Right.
Maybe some bars on Broadway and some bachelorette parties, but also
but
like
country music playing
right?
in the background.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, how can we really build this community where locals are super proud of the active living opportunities that are provided, whether that be a race or a festival or an event or a trail, but also really put Richmond on the map for the tourism side of things, that people want to travel here to experience all the great amenities we have.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like that it's not like moving to the office, like the new office isn't like a fresh start. It's just like a kickstart because it's like we're already like doing a great job and our races are already like our numbers are looking great. And I just feel like moving here gives us even like more. We're across from a park. Yeah. Like that is like so awesome on the trail. Yeah. Like that's such like it's a perfect place to be for if we do have events or if we have like get-togethers here. Then it's like, guess what, guys? we're going to go walk on our trail that's literally in our backyard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's coming together so perfectly, actually.
I saw the first Fitness Warriors training happening
Yeah.
in here on Saturday. I was going to the gas station right here and I drove by and I saw people, they were actively working out in there and it looked so good, like in the windowed fitness room
Love
to see
that.
it from there.
Just as
Like
a
the first thing I was like, oh,
bystander.
what are all these cars? And then I saw them and I'm like, that's so great. And I messaged Tiffany because she posted on Instagram and I was like, you guys looked so good. Yeah, no, it is very cool to see that like vision become something that's a bigger reality and a way that it will just continue to like be rooted in the Richmond community as, you know, something that people think of as synonymous with Richmond. So we mentioned that you've worked under Jon for almost 17 years. And you've been learning from him. So what do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned since working here and what has it been like to work with him?
Jon has been an incredible mentor. He really truly walks the walk. No pun intended. Maybe pun intended. You know, he really does put his money where his mouth is when it comes to living the mission. He's always coming from a place of how can we at Sports Backers benefit the community. And so it's really not about what we're doing. It's about how what we are doing is going to help the community around us. And I think that's a pretty important distinction because you don't always celebrate all of your successes.
Yeah.
Which can be a good thing because you're not out there seeking the glory. You're out there doing the work, and putting in the hours. Again, there's a dark side of that too. You know, sometimes we need to kind of recharge and rest. And Jon doesn't have a lot of rest. But again, that honestly, it's one of his defining characteristics that he is just so driven and so kind of always thinking about how to be more impactful and how to grow and how to reach more people. You know, it's really impressive and something that he has impressed upon me over the last 17 years.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the first things I think about is like just his like, there's no like pinnacle that he's like, this is, I mean, I think he expresses satisfaction and happiness with where the organization is and with the work we're doing all the time. Like it's not like he's constantly like, this isn't good enough.
Right.
Like it is always, you don't ever feel that, but I feel like it is always the stretching for something else. Like, okay, we've done this, what's next? And that's part of the reason you don't get bored working here in some ways is because there's somebody that's always pushing you. Also, I got a lot of rest in me. So I need somebody that, I need somebody with not a lot of rest.
But I will say that, you know, we're encouraged to go for lunchtime runs or walks or bike rides. We're encouraged to, you know, we have showers in the basement down here so that we can work out during the work day. So, you know, it's not that we're always on the grind, but I think that when you're on in this industry, you have to be on, right?
Yeah.
And you can't just be going through the motions when you're on. You have to actually be innovating and thinking and grinding, and you know that can get tiring.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really important, I think, to have a culture internally of, you know, again, walking the walk, right? Like take time for yourself to go out and enjoy the beautiful day, go on the fall line trail, go run in the park, you know, go play with your kids, go coach your kids' soccer team, right? Sometimes those are, you know, 4:30, 5 o'clock practices. We're not here like drawing a hard line in the sand saying that you can't go support our mission, because it doesn't fit within this box.
Yeah. Ashley and I pulled up after being at I might have been after being at your run club. It was something this week where we'd gone in the car together and we pulled up and Jon just came up on his bike around the parking lot. He'd been in Bryant Park on trails and we were like, that's great. Yeah. We were just like, that's exactly like you're saying. It's the best. You know, it is like, I don't think twice about, I'm going to, you know, I walked to work this morning. I'm going to walk home at lunch, but I could go home at lunch and walk the dog around the block a little bit if I wanted to. Like that is part of one of the best things. And I do think really helps when you're talking about having to kind of be on that grind, or the innovation and creativity, at least for me, is something that is huge to like refueling that like innovation and creativity.
Yeah. Cause sometimes that's how, a lot of, specifically the marketing department, and I've talked to Ashley about it a few times, like trying to be creative and think of something in an office when there's like people talking all the time. Like it's hard. So like getting to go outside and walk and like scroll on my phone while I'm walking and look for ideas, that's like gonna be perfect. So I am very excited. And I was telling them before, the showers are really just great to me because at the old office, I'd be like, I want to go, but like, I'd be funky at my desk the whole time. So I'm just going to stay here.
Have you used the shower?
I haven't.
Okay.
Has anybody yet?
I know that they have been used.
Drew
Okay.
did. Drew used it before our event last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they work.
They work.
Yeah.
Love that.
Excited to use
I'll
it.
figure out if we need a shower curtain in there.
I don't know.
Details.
Yeah.
Little details.
We'll have to take a poll. Brittany sent that poll around the other day. She can take a poll after everybody's used the showers.
Okay. This is a question I had because a lot of the time when people are just leaving college and they are looking for a job, or sometimes like people don't know what they want to do. And so they're like flustered and they find a job and then they're like, I hate this. The question that I wanted to ask was, if you could go back and give yourself advice 17 years ago when you started working here, what would it be? With all of your knowledge that you have now.
Yeah.
I would say don't be afraid to pick up the phone and make a phone call, write an email to try to connect with somebody. Like, I think it can be really intimidating being a college kid that's just graduated and feeling like you don't know people, you're not connected. I think people in general want to be helpful of one another.
Right.
And I think that as a recent college grad, I was probably maybe a little more cynical than I am now. And I've really learned that there's a lot of beauty, a lot of kindness, a lot of collaboration, and I think people want to be helpful.
Right.
So however you apply that insight, that'd be the advice I would give myself. Pick up the phone, write the email, reach out to the person, ask them to call for your lunch. Just meet with as many people as you can.
I feel like you are a very, you know a guy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like every time we're somewhere, you know a lot of people there because that's you talk to a lot of people and you get stuff.
You're a relationship person.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I love about this organization is that we get the opportunity to partner with so many different people, and we're so supported by so many different people that I have had a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of people.
Right.
And there's a lot of people I haven't met that I'm looking forward to meeting that, this new role will open up new opportunities that didn't exist necessarily before, weren't necessarily right in front of me. But I think it's also the reason that when people ask me like, hey, can you connect me with so-and-so? I always like to get the blessing of the person that's being connected to.
Yeah.
But I'm so willing to do that because to me, like, you just never know where that collaboration is going to lead.
Well, and Richmond's also like a big little city. Like, I always think that's one of my favorite things about it is it's got a lot of those aspects that big cities have that people like, entertainment wise, sports wise, but then on the same hand, like you go somewhere, you see somebody and I think that also makes it unique because all of the other sports partners and tourism partners that we get to work with all the time and sponsors, I generally agree, like they're trying to help each other, like do the best they can in partnership with one another. So that is always like a really nice thing to see.
Right. And I know specifically for me, like if we're somewhere and I see someone who's like my age, I always try to connect on it because I'm like, do you feel scared to be here too? Or like, how do you feel about like networking? Because sometimes I get nervous about it, but then you never know, that person might leave where they're working and go work somewhere else. And now you have a connection at a new place. And it's like, all you have to do is say hi.
Or it could be your new best friend.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's my new bestie. You never know. So yeah, you know a guy. You always Will knows a guy.
I really don't like. I really don't view myself as like some like super plugged in guy within the community. I enjoy meeting people and I enjoy getting to know people. I'm try to be curious by nature, so I like to ask questions and just try to understand people's stories and journeys, and then look for opportunities to work together. Yeah. So it's like, people talk about relationship building as like a skill. Like to me, that's what life is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like, we're just going through this journey, and we're trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, make some friends.
That's also because you put it in practice, because you have been trying to like intentionally do it, and like anything else, it gets easier and looks more natural once you've like made yourself do it a little bit more.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also kind of easy with sports backers specifically, because a lot of the people who do our events do every single one of our, like, I know so many people because of how often they're around and how often they're at our events and like integrated and volunteering. And I don't know if I was talking to you or who I was talking to, but I was like, sometimes I'll go somewhere, like one of our events, like River City has, and I'll be like, oh, I saw so many people I knew today. And all the people that I knew were people I've met since I've worked here. Yeah. Like, they're not like old friends. They're just people that I've met since regular sports backers. And I'm like, I've met so many people.
But that's what we like. It's part of what's at the core of what Sports Backers is all about is we create community, right? We bring people together with active living just as the platform for that. And so, you could say that it's just the same people doing our events over and over again, but at the same time, it's there's like so you wouldn't have known them had our events not existed, and they may not know each other. I mean, it is probably my favorite thing about Sports Backers is that that's what we do. We create community. Yeah. And you can look at the run clubs and the fitness clubs of Kids on the Move. You can look at the All-Stars cohort and how those kids have gotten to know each other over the year. Our training teams, I mean, that's an obvious no-brainer. The Fitness Warriors, I mean, it's creating community and using physical activity as the platform to do that. Like, how awesome is that?
It's great.
Yeah.
We're big fans of it.
Right. Yeah. It's great for people like me who don't like to go out anywhere. I'm just doing it throughout my regular work day or my regular life. Like, I can just meet a new friend by being at work. And how cool is that?
Yeah. Ooh. And you're doing something good for yourself, right? Like, good for your mental health, good for your physical health, good for your social health. Like, it's anyway. I can go on.
Go Sports Backers.
I mean, it's awesome. It is.
Yeah, we see why you got hired.
Right.
No, I think it's like also just the fact of there's so many different ways to meet people. But I do think that the fact of like being on a training team, doing the Fitness Warriors class, like anything like that, somehow in some ways to me is a little bit more powerful because you're both there because you want to better yourself. Right. Or you're having a goal that you're working towards. It might not even be the exact same goal, but you're both like in it together trying to accomplish this goal that takes this routine thing that seems easy to show up to all the time, but isn't necessarily easy to show up to all the time. And so you've got this like kind of pact with these people that you're like showing up and doing it. And it is super impactful. And I think does create like maybe much more lasting relationships and friendships than other ways that you could kind of organically meet people.
True.
Yeah.
I got a comment on that. Do I get it?
Yeah.
I think that sense of accountability is a real thing.
Yeah.
But you look at the staff here, I think our average tenure is like 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I think that might be even when you take Jon out of the equation. But even so, like, we have shared experiences, right?
Yes.
Like, you think about getting up at 4 a.m., getting on Broad Street to set up for the marathon or to go to Moreau Park for the 10K Finish Festival, 4 a.m., long days, rain or shine. We go through this stuff together too. And so I think that kind of that's part of what makes this a special place to work is that we have those shared experiences, often in maybe worse conditions than some of the experiences that you're talking about. But again, like, you build relationships through shared experiences like that.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine working somewhere where I didn't feel like I was super good friends with like all 25 people.
Yeah, where you're just showing up and going through the motions and going home. Again, like there's a purpose behind the work here. And that purpose is to build community around active living.
It's very, very similar to being on a college sports. Yeah. Like, I think about that all the time, that when you're on a team together, the good or the bad, like, obviously y'all have to get up together and work out super early and nobody wants to do it, but then you get it done and then you go win championships and then you do things. But like, obviously we're not winning championships, but our Super Bowl is the 10K, or like our Super Bowl is the marathon. Like, we have these big events and it's like we work together all day. We've gotten so good at cleaning up and breaking down that we're like, oh, get it done. And then the day's over and then we're like, all right, great. So yeah, it's very similar to, which, I mean, in part, it makes sense. Sports and yeah. So.
And then after the event is done, we typically hang out together a little bit more somewhere because we're celebrating that the event was a success.
We haven't spent enough time together.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And then we're texting each other afterwards for the rest of the weekend. So no, it's definitely unique. The office was really being asked earlier here. It was making the noise again because it knew that it was its next question. It's the start of the show. You were the head person on the project for the renovation here, basically. And this took a lot of work, y'all, like a lot of work. This is Will's baby here at this office.
Yeah.
And what is your personal favorite feature of the new office now that we're here? Oh, that's a good question. Is it what you thought it was going to be?
I'm gonna have to give this some thought.
Okay.
You know, the sports backers executive director answer would be the fall line trail going through the ATM lane and the fitness room where we'll be able to do our trainings and host group fitness classes.
Do you want to say the ice maker?
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
I think Dion, me and Dion were talking about it the other day. He was like, what is this? Because I don't think he knew that it was there.
The ice maker special. I actually really, really like this room.
I do too. I'm glad we claimed
I like
it.
Quiet. I love the artwork here. Sorry, I'm talking like you can see this. But,
it's beautiful.
Y'all gave the tour.
Well, yeah, we gave a tour. You saw it.
This whole attic area actually this was just an unfinished attic of an old Bank of America branch. It had the tube system to send money back and forth to the drive-through lanes, and it had the music. And it had the music player. You didn't want to.
Oh,
no. But now it's 4 great meeting rooms, and again, this might be a lame answer too, but I think it just services what we do as an organization. This building services what we do as an organization, and how we operate as a staff incredibly well.
Yeah.
We have meeting rooms that we didn't have at Sportsbacker Stadium, which was an awesome home for my entire time with the organization. We have meeting rooms here. We have collaborative workspace, which, I know that there's different thoughts on. We got a nice kitchen. We got a fitness room. We got a trail. We got a park. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow. Yeah.
And an ice maker.
And an ice maker. Don't forget. And we never have to, we've got the bottle refill stations,
key fobs.
I like a key fob. Yeah. Full hands, the fob is the way to go. Yeah.
Easy. Lockers. What's there not to like?
We got it all.
Staff lockers. That's nice too.
Great job.
Thank you. This again, like everything else that we do, is a team effort. A lot of folks on staff giving a lot of input, a great GC and architect and kind of planning and execution team on this. I mean, I didn't drive a single nail in this building, right? Like, I don't deserve the credit for building.
That would have been bad.
Yeah. So, I don't deserve the credit in craftsmanship. Speaking of craftsmanship,
give us credit.
But I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, now we've got possibly the hardest part of your interview, your this or that. So you get 3 rapid fire this or that's. Cameron and I are wild. We've been thinking of them on the spot. I'm going to let you keep yours that you thought of downstairs since you already had it. We've referenced all the amenities here. Do you think if you have I'm going to give you 3 options. We're getting crazy. A lunchtime workout option going on. Are you going for a run or walk in the park? You going for a lakeside bike ride? Or are you going to head down to the fitness room, assuming there's not a class happening, and do a little at-home workout, but in the fitness center?
I'll be a bit of a fair weather fan here.
Okay.
Run in the park if it's nice out.
Okay, that's fine.
It always matters.
Yeah, it does.
Fitness center if it's not.
It's also very nice to have the option for that because, there were a lot of days at the old office where I would want to run and then you're like, it's raining.
I might also go over to Northside Y and get a swim in.
It's my spot. Love the Northside Y.
Because I've never been there.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's so close now.
They've done a really nice job with that building.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Also, like lunch is like typically a pretty quiet time there, so you can really get your workout on peacefully.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
My this or that for you.
Just all the way down the line.
Vacation time. It's getting warmer out, so I was thinking about vacations. If you're going on a summer vacation, would you prefer going on an out of the country vacation or staying in the U.S.? Will goes on some nice vacations, guys.
I'm chuckling because my fiance Courtney's, she's always wanted to travel internationally and do things, and I haven't seen enough of this country yet.
There's a lot going on here.
This country has so much to offer.
There's a lot going on.
And I'd be embarrassed to say some of the things that I haven't seen.
It's okay.
But I'll throw one out. I haven't seen the Grand Canyon.
I've been to Las Vegas and I haven't seen Mary.
Oh,
I
Come
had
on.
Close enough.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, you could.
yeah, you could have. There's some
this
crazy-
country.
Yeah. There's some crazy things. Deep into TikTok, somebody was commenting. Somebody from Europe was being like, "Yeah, but because they were like, people don't travel outside of the U.S. Everybody that's in the U.S. doesn't travel far. A lot of people don't travel." And they were like, "Yeah, but have you seen all the stuff that's in the? Do you know how big the United States is?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Thank you.
Yeah,
Hello."
I'm it's nothing against international travel
Right.
at all, right? Like there's lots of places around the world I'd like to go see. But if you're giving me a this or that,
Yeah.
there's a lot I haven't
That's
seen
for
here
sure.
yet.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this one's silly. We know that you are a parrot head, that you were a big fan of Jimmy Buffett. Rest in peace. When I started this question, I'm not going to lie, I forgot in my mind that he was no longer with us. And that's why I was like, not a good question. So I amended it. I changed it in my head while sitting here. Let's say, because I'm sure there are, and I just don't know about them. I'm thinking about Mara just went to see Dead and Company at the Sphere this weekend. So I'm like, that's obviously like a huge Grateful Dead like cover band that's gotten tremendous popularity. I'm like, do you think are there any Jimmy Buffett bands that have that, like cover bands that have, it's nothing close to that?
His band, I believe, along with a couple of kind of prominent band members, are still
okay.
The Coral Reefers band was Buffett's band, and Mac McAnally was a vocalist and guitar player. Had his own music career. I think is still touring with the Coral Reefers.
Okay.
And doing shows around. Yeah.
Well, so here's the question then. If you are going to go see the Coral Reefers and Mac, do you want to see them at the Sphere? Say they just went catapulted in fame and they are at the Sphere, or in Key West? More of a Jimmy locale.
Yeah.
Key West.
Okay. Never been to Key West.
I have.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've really talked about it heavily as a summer vacation this year.
It's fun. I do want to see the Sphere, but I don't think that's
the vibe for you at the Sphere.
No, if you get a chance to listen to Buffett music in Key West, you listen to
That's the vibe.
Toes in the sand. That's what you want. Yeah, I'm just I have been to the Sphere and saw like the little movie that they play. And just with that, like when they were saying Beyonce might be there, or there was the big rumor recently about Harry Styles. I'm a big Harry Styles fan. I was excited about that. I kind of don't think I can handle it. Like that's an experience. I'm scared I might get like motion sick. It's also very steep. Like I'm worried. Yeah. So I feel you. I like an outside venue anyway. So Key West would be great.
Yeah.
I think you could handle the Sphere.
I think so. I
think you could handle
I mean, I wish they should sell like half a concert ticket to be like, come outside. If you want to do the second half, you can find out now. Yeah. Well, that's all we got. Do you have any other wisdom you need to impart on us as the new executive director?
No, I'm I'm humbled and honored and really, really excited, and know that there's going to be challenges and ups and downs just like there have been over the last 17 years. But this organization means a lot to me. Richmond means a lot to me. The staff means a lot to me. So I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're all very excited too. You were definitely well suited for the job, and I think your leadership has definitely just grown tremendously in 17 years. So it'll be very exciting to look towards the future and see all that you're able to accomplish with all of us.
Thanks,
yeah.
Thanks, Cam.
Thanks, y'all. Also, really important, since we have you, and this is coming out. Oh, never mind. I was about to plug 10K price hike, but it comes out tomorrow. Hope you registered. We gave you plenty of chances to save that cash. Cameron's been posting. So, all right. Well, we'll see you in a week and some change, since this was a special edition. But see you next Thursday. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.